Before getting into the tools that you can use for mental performance, we'll first talk about your body's physiological response to stress and what can cause stress. So, when you see something stressful or really see anything, you take information in through your eyes and ears. What happens then is that a signal gets sent to your amygdala, which is your emotional center, and also the part of your brain that processes information. When that senses that something is danger, it sends a signal to your hypothalamus, which triggers your sympathetic nervous system. What happens there is that your fight or flight response, or your sympathetic nervous system, gets activated. That's when you feel like you're in danger. So these are all responses that you're probably familiar with, but you weren't really sure where they were coming from. Things like your heart rate getting faster, your breath quickening, your palms might get sweaty, your body temperature feels like it's changing a little bit, your muscles get really tight and tense. These are all your body's physiological response to stress. Today we have stressors that come in a lot of different varieties. So no longer are we in the caveman days where we're getting chased by predators necessarily, but things like stressful conversations, hard assignments, things like sitting in traffic or feeling like you're going to be late for a really important meeting. So it's really important, because of all of these different stressors that are hitting us now, our sympathetic nervous system tends to be overactive a lot of times. And using mental performance skills to manage that stress and be able to reactivate our parasympathetic nervous system is really, really important in order to enhance your performance in the moment, but also to sustain long-term performance over time. Because think about that, if you're constantly activated as though something is stressful and you're anxious and you're overactivated, you're not really going to perform anything very well. So this is where heart rate variability comes into play, which we're not going to get into too much depth about, but to give you a baseline, heart rate variability is the interplay between your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous system. So what happens is you think of a pulse, which if your heart's beating 60 beats per minute, you think that's one time every second. But really, a healthy heart and a healthy heart rate variability means that there's some variation between the times that it's beating. So, it's not 1 beat per second, but instead that parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system are playing a little game of tug of war. And the higher your heart rate variability and the more difference there is between those, the better and the more well recovered you are, so that when you do actually feel stress and encounter something that's dangerous to you, your sympathetic nervous system can jump into action when you need it to. But on the other hand, you're not overly active and overly stressed all the time. So this is where mental performance tools come into play and can help you. Things like breathing and progressive muscle relaxation can actually help you raise your heart rate variability, lower your heart rate, get back into that zone, and be more able to perform in high pressure situations. So next we're going to go into using breathing as a technique for managing stress, and then figure out exactly when and how you can implement that tool in your daily life, both as a tactical pause when you're in a high pressure situation in the moment, and also as a daily recovery strategy so you can manage those long-term chronic stressors that you encounter day after day after day.